Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. So Bitcoin is looking much better this Friday morning. It is above $61,000. And of course, I have to talk about the huge gains incoming for Bitcoin. There are many reasons why for this. And of course, there's many reasons why Bitcoin is recovering once again. Let's talk about all these things and more. Let's do it. Welcome, guys. That is looking much better right now. Bitcoin, I'm referring to, is now at 61,400. You know, we got as low as 56,000 a couple times. We hung out here for a little bit, then started trending upwards. And now we're looking like we want to shoot right back up to the 63.7 mark, which I did say a few days ago was a possibility, right? I did actually indicate that I think we will shoot back around this level and basically do this, you know, up and down around here. And maybe we do that for a couple of months, okay? Or we trend downwards, but you know what? It does seem like we are not going to trend downwards. We're just going to shoot right back up. Well, it's early. We'll see. We'll see. But with all the short squeezes happening right now, I would not be surprised, even if by the end of the stream, we could be back at 63,000, right? Things move very quickly in crypto. That's why I always tell you guys to stay strong and focus on the future, because you can have a reversal come any day and Bitcoin just starts moving like a freight train, and it's unstoppable when it does. So that's good. But what's going on? What's driving it up today? What's driving it up? Well, I did notice the U.S. market opened up deep in the green, if this ever updates. But, you know, futures indicate 500 points for Dow and almost 300 for NASDAQ. And that's because we got this. And, you know, it's funny because this should not be good news. In fact, this was not good news at all. Actually, two pieces of news. One, unemployment went up from 3.8 to 3.9, which is not a good thing. And the job growth came in at 175,000, but that came in below expectations. Now, this is a head scratcher, right? Why would a report showing less jobs added and unemployment go up pump the U.S. market? Well, again, this has to do with Fed Chair Powell, because I guess Wall Street is looking at this and saying, well, okay, the economy is not overheating. That means inflation is not going to continue to rise up, and that means Powell can continue to cut rates. That's how I see it. That's the only way to spin this. How could bad economic data pump the markets? Like, seriously, sometimes, I've said this many times in 2022 and even 2023. Sometimes we live in a bizarre world where bad economic data pumps the market and good economic data dumps the market. It doesn't make sense, but that's the reason. It always comes down to what Fed Chair Powell is going to do with the rates. And if Wall Street thinks if there's any indication that he may raise rates, well, it's going to dump. And if he's going to cut rates, it's going to pump, right? So this is helping the narrative that we will get a very first cut in what, 4 years? 4 years? Soon. And it could be as soon as next month. So this is definitely helping, okay? Now, what else is there? I covered this last night. For the first time in a year, we have the fear and greed index showing fear. And after today, it probably go back to neutral again, okay? But things move really quickly in crypto. And that includes sentiment, not just price. Sentiment changes rapidly. Just last week, we were in greed, and somehow we're in fear. But here's the thing. Who's selling, right? Unfortunately, according to JP Morgan, it's the retail investors. It's not the institutions. Maybe a little bit from the institutions, but mostly the sell-off is led by retail investors, what we call paper hands, Okay, paper hands, or lettuce hands, whatever you want to call them, they can't stand the pressure or the heat, so they have to sell off, right? I can understand if people sold off at 73,000 or 70,000, but you don't sell off when we're at 56,000, okay? That just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But according to J.P. Morgan, that's who we're selling, retail investors. And unfortunate, when retail investors were selling, you know who was buying? I think you guys could guess who. Whales. In fact, whale addresses accumulated $3 billion worth of Bitcoin in just last day, in the last 24 hours. So, retail selling, whales buying. You see the difference there? This is why I always tell you guys, hey, don't be fearful of dips. Dips are normal. You accumulate during dips because that's what the whales do. They keep buying. They buy when things are low. They don't buy when things are sky high, right? So that is another reason why we are going higher. We're still going higher, guys. 61.6. Hopefully you guys set your longs. I certainly did because I think today is going to be a good day. Just kidding. You don't have to set your longs. But hopefully you guys did accumulate or take advantage of, you know, our low prices a few days ago. When things are on discount, that's when you buy, right? That's exactly what happened. Whales are accumulating. And you know, some people may be disappointed with Hong Kong's ETF opening. People are thinking, well, it's too low. They haven't really accumulated, right? Not much. Well, it's adding up. Just like all ETF launches, they take a little bit to launch, okay? It doesn't go sky high immediately. Although, if you look at the numbers, they're not bad. If you look at, this is after day 2, the 3 ETF funds already accumulated $231 million worth of Bitcoin. This is not chump change. $231 million in 2 days. That is a whole lot. And it could get up to $1 billion by the end of 2024. In fact, I think it's going to go past $1 billion because it's already $250 million. Okay? So don't think that it's a disappointment. Hong Kong, along with Wall Street and everywhere else that have ETFs, they will continue to soak up more and more of the supply until there's none available. That's why we still see the reserves on exchanges dropping like a rock in the ocean. And again, this is another reason why huge gains are incoming, because it's really about supply and demand. And supply is being eaten up more and more so by the whales, by the institutions through these ETFs, and retail too. Retail just got a little scared, but retail will come back. So, all great things. And if you look at in cumulative, everything that we have, okay, all the ETFs from all the countries, and yes, we have them in Canada as well, and a few others in Europe, and all the US ones, right? Grayscale is the only one that's still selling, okay? But if you look at everything in total, we're talking about over $100 billion of Bitcoin in the ETFs. That's it, okay? $100 billion. But that's a lot. That's like 10% of the entire supply, okay? And that happened in a very, very, very short amount of time. Now imagine the market keep going up and Bitcoin continues to rise and we go over 100,000. Think about how much FOMO there will be from the companies and the fund companies and private companies and public companies and financial institutions. How much FOMO there will be among them when Bitcoin starts rising up above $100,000. These AUM numbers will explode from 100 billion to 200 to 500 and maybe by the end of the year, 1 trillion. Imagine 1 trillion of AUM under the ETFs. How high Bitcoin would be then, right? Maybe at 125, 130,000, 150,000. It could be right around the corner. This is why you don't ever want to give up. Okay. Okay, this is the best asset we have. You don't want to ever give up, no matter how scary it seems. And in fact, I've pointed this out. I don't want to, you know, continue to beat on a dead horse, but yeah, no, I forgot what I was gonna say, but but here, I'll show you guys this instead. 4,000 Bitcoins accumulated by one person, Mr. 100. He's no longer called Mr. 100. He should be called Mr. 4,000 because he purchased 4,000 Bitcoins in a single day. In a single day. Do you know how much that is? This has to be a billionaire, right? It has to be someone that we know, some rich billionaire that decided, I don't have enough Bitcoin. I need to put more into my balance sheet. And I mean, added 4,000. How much is it going to add today? Right? Maybe another 4,000. I mean, that's insane. 4,000 Bitcoin in a single day. Just absolutely bonkers. All right, here's another example of Bitcoin and why it's so early. If you look at adoption S-curve versus internet adoption and where Bitcoin is right now, you could see how, yeah, Bitcoin adoption from a world perspective is still nothing. Absolutely nothing, okay? By the time it's not nothing, by the time it's adopted as much as internet itself, we're talking about Bitcoin being at like $5 million, $10 million, something like that. Okay. So it's still very, very early. Accumulate those sats as much as you can because we are going to go a lot higher. Arthur Hayes also thinks that we're going to go for a slow grind up. I think we'll get back to that again, back to that 63.7 mark, this red mark. And then we may trend here for a little bit for a few months until Bitcoin starts skyrocketing up to 80, up to $100,000. I think that's right around the corner. But we may hover here for a little bit, but who knows? Maybe we don't. Maybe we just start skyrocketing now and we never stop until the end of the cycle. Who knows? Right? We're after the halving event, but traditionally speaking, it takes a few months before we start moving. But you know what? All the charts, the on-chain metrics, the fundamentals all point higher, 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 higher. Here's another chart that shows we're going higher. There's no doubt about it, okay? And most importantly, you don't sell during these bull market corrections because we will go higher and higher and higher and higher, okay? But corrections are normal. 20%, 25%, 30%, normal, okay? So, here's another example. You know, I have endless examples, all right? Even from TA perspective, they're all showing that we are recovering and we're going higher, right? Ultimately, what you guys need to know is this. Bitcoin is going to go a lot higher and will pull the entire market up with it, right? So case in point today is a really good recovery day so far, right? And you got across the board greens, everything is shooting upwards. Of course, we're not as high as just last week or 2 weeks ago, but like I said, things move very quickly when it comes to Bitcoin and crypto. We could have a sudden turnaround and we can pump up 10% within a single day and just continue on, right? This is why we're in it. We're in crypto for life-changing wealth, and don't let your dreams slip away with or because of a little volatility or a little whale manipulation or a little market dip, okay? They will pass. You won't even remember it afterwards. That's the beauty of it. All right. I think that's pretty much it. Let's do some Q&A. That's looking good. That chart is looking good right now. All right, let me scroll up here. Space Vibe says, if there's a time for FOMO, it's right effing now. Well, I don't disagree. Zero X Kamal says, Mr. 100 is Upbed's wallet. I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure that is. I'll do more research on that. It's the Filipino quadrillionaire with infinite USD around the world. I have no idea who you're talking about, but it sounds right. It has to be some billionaire, or it could be a wallet. Man, it's skyrocketing right now. I'm looking for wife-changing wealth this cycle so I can get that wife-changing wealth next cycle. What? David. Be careful what you wish for. Sometimes it may just happen. And there's unseen let's just say there's unseen circumstances that may happen, may arise from that. JEA, what would you buy with your bull cycle profits? Finding something with low depreciation? Hey, you got to enjoy life sometimes. We had a good discussion last night about this, okay? There are people that save, and unfortunately they never end up spending their millions, okay? So if you make millions from this, just do what you want. Not everything is based on, like, if it's an investment, okay? Like services are not investments. Traveling is not investments. Those are just life experiences, right? So just everything in, what do you call it? I'm missing a word here. I'm brain freeze. Just don't go too much splurging. I mean, just stay within reason, I guess, right? And if you want to buy a Lambo, go buy a Lambo. The Lambo's going to depreciate, but it makes you feel like you accomplished something. It makes you feel like, yeah, I did it. You know, I survived the crypto winter and now I'm a freaking millionaire. Go ahead and do so, you know? Chester says, I'm still not sold on base. What are your thoughts? I have the same feeling, but no, I think base is legit. I just don't like it. Moderation, that's what I'm looking for. Everything in a moderation. I don't know why I can't think of it. I need to take more of those, like, memory pills or something. I think base is legit. Coinbase is supporting them. There's no way they're not going to be huge. But you can't profit from it. You can't buy base tokens. Just get an 80s Honda. You don't need a Lambo. I really wish there was a rule like, you know, you can't. No, I don't want to say it because it sounds really bad. But I really wish there was a rule where like the old, like crappy cars, not muscle cars or iconic cars or the nice ones, but like the really bad ones, like an 80s Honda Civic, they should all be banned from the roads. And you shouldn't be able to buy them. They should all be crushed in a junkyard. Same with the 90s Corollas and all these cars that are now like 30, 40 years old. Unless they're like, you know, a muscle car or like some kind of iconic car that people actually want or care about, all the other ones should all just be crushed. Force people to buy new cars. Mr. Little Bags, thank you. XCN 10X. I don't know what XCN is. Yes, I do. No, I don't. Yeah, I don't know anything about Onyx Coin. Yeah. Like a 91 Honda CRX should be crushed. '90 Corolla should be crushed. Dodge Stratus, crushed. Geo Metro, get out of here with the Geo Metro. Same about motorcycles. Eventually I'll probably try a motorcycle. It's not like I'm against it. I've just never rode one or driven one before. Eventually I will. Law, you want an 18-year-old to find cash to buy a brand new car? No. I'm saying cars that are like 30 or 40 years old. You could buy a decently used 5-year-old Honda Civic for like, I don't know, $15,000, okay? Or even a 10-year-old Honda Civic for under $10,000. That's fine. I'm talking about 80s and 90s. We're talking about 30 to 40-year-olds. All they do is move slow on the road and pollute the earth with their bad exhaust. No, now 84 Regal or Grand National. See, those are good cars. Okay. That's different than like an 84 Corolla or a Civic or a Camry. Okay. They're different leagues of cars. First gen Dodge Durangos need to be crushed. That's for sure. First gen Ford Explorers and second gen Ford Explorers needs to be crushed. There are a lot of cars that need to be crushed. We got a lively crowd this morning. Everyone's excited about Bitcoin. It's almost like we were stuck here for months upon months and everyone's like, "Oh my God, it's finally moving." But it's only been like a few days, right? That's the that's the funny thing. We started falling April 30th, so it's only been 4 days. That's how fast things move. But the way we're going, pretty confident we'll be right back up, and this would have been a golden buying opportunity right here. Anything here. Did you hold your cock and will it explode soon? According to Bleed Man. Every night. Every night. Are you also go stop traffic too? I don't know what that means. I don't know how you stop traffic unless, you just like run people. You run people over. You run all the peasants over with your G-Wagon. Then yeah, there'll be no traffic. I'm just kidding, guys. Not really. Maybe a little bit. Are you still holding Kulo? Yeah, I am. I'm holding all my Kulo right now. All right, in case you guys are wondering why Bitcoin's pumping today, I think it's due to the US market doing really well. And it's due to bad economic data. That's what happens. You know, sometimes bad economic data pumps markets because people really want to see Powell cut rates. And somehow unemployment going up and less job growth equals cutting rates because it means inflation should be coming down, which means the market goes up. You know, sometimes it's so backwards. You would never think so. You'd think like a headline like this, if you had no clue about the economy or how money works, you would look at this and you're like, there's no way the market is going to be doing good today, right? But this had the exact opposite. You know, like speaking of traffic, I remember when I visited LA, right? They have, I believe the toll system in LA is controlled by a private company. So they have like they have a lane, like kind of like a almost like a fast pass lane where you're paying the toll on that lane adjusts based on traffic. So the more traffic there is, the more expensive it is to go on that lane. I think that's genius. Every city should implement that, right? They'll make millions from that because there are so many impatient people that do not want to get stuck in traffic and they just want to ride the lane. You know, just like if you go to amusement park, those fast pass or speed pass or whatever, quick pass or whatever. They should do that everywhere on every single highway. Every store should have it where you could just skip the line by paying something extra. So LA got it right. I think it's LA. I don't know if it's another city, but that's genius. Winston, what are the first steps a new meme coin and project should do with a market cap of 50 to 100K, increase holders and continue growth? Yeah, increase holders. That's what you do. With any, it doesn't even matter if it's a new meme coin or an old meme coin. You just have to find new users to love it and buy it and hold it. That's the thing. You have to make them hold it. Too many meme coins shoot up right away because it's low liquidity. You can make something shoot up to millions right away, but then everyone just becomes bored and sells it off, and then it dumps back down. So the key is to make them hold it. I drive that through Charlotte, so Charlotte, North Carolina has it. That is any city that has it is smart. They should implement that everywhere. St. Paul, Minnesota. Miami has express lanes. Really? I drove in Miami many times and I don't remember seeing that. I don't remember that at all. But I can't imagine Miami gets a lot of traffic. Oh, the I-95 leaving Miami. Okay. Is that I would only drive in Miami or around the area around it, but yeah. Job market was so bad, June or July rate cut. There's a small chance. There's a small chance that there may be a rate cut in June, but I think it's more likely that we're going to get it in July. I think that's when we're going to get it, and that'll be absolutely fantastic. I mean, Powell was very defensive when asked about if he has to do this because of the presidential election year. And then he was like, no, you look at my track record and I never did that, blah, blah. But, he's under a lot of pressure to do it. So it's going to happen this year. And he has to do it fast before the elections start happening. So I think July. July, and then probably another one in September, and maybe one at the end of the year. Danny, appreciate it. Matt, appreciate that too. Thank you. Pax OG, there's different ways to name freeways. Some freeways are freeways. There's no toll. But then there are highways which have tolls. So it depends. So if there is a highway where you have to pay a toll, I mean, if there's a freeway that has tolls, it's basically called a highway. That's how I interpret it. There are actually freeways, though. There are places you could drive. There's no tolls. But all major cities all have it. Major states. Man, we're back to 62,000, guys. I hope you guys have some... I'll tell you from a leverage perspective, it's still way too dangerous to be throwing like 20x, 25x or something like that. I've been playing with like 8x, 10x at most. And it's been somewhat successful. Some I played with smaller, like 3 to 5x, and they have been more successful, but then greed always gets to you and wants you to do more. But I'll say, yeah, it's still kind of dangerous to play with super leverage. Those of you guys that are playing it, I would still be careful. Try to do under 10. It's still good. It's still really good money if you think about it. Miami is so bad, it's worse than New York sitting in traffic. I'll take your word for that. I don't see how Miami could be worse than New York. I'll tell you, Orlando sucks because the traffic lights in Orlando never change green. They're not the automatic ones. So it doesn't matter if there's one person or 10 people waiting. It's the same length. And it sucks. And in Orlando, you have traffic at midnight. It makes no sense. I think Orlando is like, I'm not a fan of Orlando because of that. Christian Lopez, you may see I pinned it on top of my live chat. I'm doing that bit Unix now. It's a new partner of mine. Been trying them out. No KYC, open to the US. And they have basically every trading pair, like 200 trading pair. It's pretty good. Pretty good. Isn't Disney in charge of Orlando? No, they have their own separate, like, land. It's like theirs. That's not part of Orlando. It's weird. They have their own government, their own police, their own jail. Yeah, I try not to drive in Miami. I just do Uber everywhere. And there's like 1 million Uber drivers, but they're kind of expensive. Miami has the hottest chicks. Well, I don't disagree with that. They have the most girls with daddy issues in that city, for sure. Are you still hooping? I've been doing more shoot arounds in my basement. I don't want to go too crazy. Although my knee is a whole lot better, I don't want to. When I exercise too much, it starts getting sore again. So I'm slowly easing into it. But yeah, it's still way better than before. If you want to have fun for a weekend in the US, Miami is the place to go. Not Vegas. If you want to gamble, you go to Vegas. If you want to check out UFC, you go to Vegas, right? You want to shoot grenade launchers, which I haven't yet, but you could go to Vegas for that. But if you want nightlife, you want partying, you go to Miami. It's that simple. I mean, they're very different. Gus says no super chat. You just tell me what you want to say. Just type it out. Use copper fit sleeves on your knee. I can't use any of those sleeves. They just keep falling off when I jump or run. So that's why I don't wear those knee sleeves or braces. Come to Malaysia. I gotta say, Malaysia's not a destination that's on my list. Not a place I ever thought about going to. I'm really thinking about Thailand and Singapore, and my family wants to go to Japan, um, and maybe Hong Kong again. But like, Malaysia's just not one of them. I did go to a gun range or shooting range in Vegas, and I shot all I shot like 5 guns, and it's fun. It's fun. Shooting Desert Eagles in an enclosed space is crazy. Even with the ear muffs and even standing 15 feet away, you could feel the pressure hitting you. It's kind of wild. Kind of wild. It's fun. Shot some automatics. I don't even know what they're called, but next time I go to Vegas, I'm gonna do that. I'm just gonna go to a range. Preferably, if I could go to an outside one, I think it would be better. Amsterdam. I stopped by Amsterdam a couple times when I was a kid. Never did anything while there. Did I check out a new Ferrari? I can't pronounce it, but yes, I know what you're talking about, the new V12 Ferrari. I don't know what people are smoking. I think that's a horrific looking Ferrari. I don't know what Ferrari is doing. I feel like all their new cars look so ugly. I have no idea. They're all just like so weird and round looking now. They're not edgy or aggressive anymore. I don't know what it is. Ferraris, they'll still drive the best, and they're still fantastic cars, and they drive. I'm sure they're very fast and kill around track. But all the new ones look so weird. SF90 looks weird. The 296 GDP weird. Parasangue, you can argue okay because it's SUV, but the new one I can't pronounce. Um, it looks weird too. Gus is asking, Injective top 100 holders own 90% of supply. Is that something that concerns you? Curious on your thoughts. I guess that does. I just never realized that. But a lot of it could be because they didn't release some of the tokens yet. So that could be because the top wallets could be holding. Max supply, total supply, fully. Yeah. They basically released all their tokens, it seems like. I don't know. Somewhat. I guess I'll have to look at it. Maybe the team holds enormous amount of tokens, which sucks, but I doubt they'll dump. I'm waiting for the big dump from Grayscale. I think they probably started already, but there's too many people buying. I mean, Grayscale didn't stop selling. I thought yesterday maybe Grayscale stopped selling, but no. They still sold like 1,000 Bitcoins yesterday. I mean, they're just relentless. They're just not stopping. The flipping between them and BlackRock is going to come soon. No, I'm serious. That new V12 Ferrari, I mean, it's really ugly. I don't. Let me see if I can find the name. Here. This is the new V12 Ferrari. Like, that does not look pretty to me. There's no side fins. It's just all round and bubbly. I mean, the side profile looks good. The inside does look good, but the back, very tame. The front is the worst part. Where's the front? I don't know. Like, that doesn't even look like a Ferrari. It looks like a Kia almost. Again, I don't whoever their designers are, I just don't get it. You look at a 296 GTB. Like, that looks like a freaking fish. Like, don't tell me that looks good. That looks like a fish. And the SF90 is the same thing. This 296 GDP is basically, I mean, that looks like a fish too. You know, so it went from this to this, and now they have this. It's like, you know, that's why I bought my F8, because I think the F8 looks great and it's not hybrid. I mean, this looks a lot sexier. Come on. Like, this looks a whole lot better than all those other examples. Look at the front end there. That looks good. I don't know. I just don't like the new Ferraris. I think they just look really ugly. New Hampshire, come over. I'll take you to get some. New Hampshire. I don't even know where New Hampshire is, honestly. I have no idea. Somewhere on the East Coast, I'm assuming. 350Z. Oh, it kind of looks like they do. Yeah, kind of. I don't know what's going on with this car. But it's super fast, though. 820 natural aspirated from a V12. It replaces the 812 Superfast. The 812 Superfast, I'll tell you, looks 100 times better than this. Come on. That's a better looking car than this. See, that there's like nice curves, and it just, this is just like nothing. You replace this the Ferrari badges with the Nissan badge, and you know, it could be the next Z. Con 2 kid, the unemployment went up, which is bad. Growth of jobs slowed down, which is bad, but it pumps the market and it pumps Bitcoin, right? The reason why is because now Wall Street expects that it's easier for Powell to cut rates in the US. That's why. Lamborghinis look better, but I really wouldn't want to get it because they don't hold their value. They depreciate like crazy. Um, I'm a Honda guy. Good daily is the SI or even the R. Yeah, SI is a little slow for me. I wish it was faster. I think something between a SI and R would be great. R is a little extreme, but you could daily drive it, especially the new one. I think if they had something pushing like more like 250 horsepower, something in between a SI and R would be probably perfect. M2 or Supra, no doubt M2. The new Supras are not that good. I used to be a fan, but they're not that fast. Turbo lag is prominent. Bad visibility. M2, it's sexy, it's fast, it drives nice. Um, M2 all the way. I would consider getting M2. Do you think with bigger institutions in a game, will our 4-year cycle format change in the future? Yes, Moses. I think it can. I think we may not see that same kind of catastrophic drop we had before with all previous cycles, like the 80% drops. This time around, we may not see it. Maybe we only have like a 50% drop, right? And then we come back up. That would change the game dramatically. People's strategy with how they deal with a crypto winter changes. So I think that's actually something we should consider this cycle. Because I just don't see all the institutions dumping after 2025. They're all in it for a long haul, right? Only retail dumps. Institutions don't really. So if they hold so much of the supply already, then I don't think we'll get that 80% dump. Looks like an Austin Martin. You know what? Austin Martins, if you just like get a 2 or 3 year old one, it's like 50% discounted. Austin Martin, I would never buy Austin Martin because none of them hold their value. They drop. Like no matter how sexy they look, and they do look very sexy, but they drop 50% upon 2 years, not even three. Not sure you talked about ETH versus SEC, but ETH should not be affected with prices as it did with XRP, right? You're talking about if the SEC actually sues ETH. If they sue ETH, it will affect the price. Okay. But right now, ETH, or the company that's the biggest supporter of ETH, which is Consensus, they're suing the SEC. It's a little bit different. But Gary, I don't think he wants to take on that, or maybe he's leaving when he's leaving office. He might do what Jay Clayton did. The very last day or very last week, he opens up a lawsuit against Ethereum because then he doesn't have to deal with it. That's what Jay Clayton did. Like, I don't think people know. Like, the last day, I think, of his job, he opened up a lawsuit against XRP and left. And now he's in crypto. He's a consultant for crypto companies. Think about it. So hopefully Gary doesn't do that because right now he's afraid to declare Ethereum a security. I've never driven a Viper before. always hear the Gen 1s and Gen 2s that were like a nightmare to drive. All right, guys. Although it's been fun, I think it's time to go. I think I had my camera wrong angle the whole time. Anyways, today's a good day. 61.4. We were almost at 62. We have a good recovery day. U.S. market is blooming due to bad economic data. But overall, guys, we got a lot of good things. Whales are buying. Countries are buying. ETFs are loading up. Don't give up on Bitcoin. Okay? Continue to DCA, continue to accumulate, and let the gains come to you. Smash the like, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. Have a good rest of your Friday. Take care. Bye-bye.